Hey everyone, welcome to the Hey Hannah podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Maya Fields, but to my friends and those who know me well, I'm just Maya. I'm a higher education administrator, a mother, and a wife of 14 amazing years. But above all, I'm a Christ follower. This podcast is a special platform created to honor the memory of my beloved daughter, Hannah. It's here that I have the chance to have the conversations that I never got to have with her, to share the wisdom and love I wish I could have passed on. It's a reminder to cherish the precious moments we're given and a testament to the power of healing, hope, and personal growth. If you're someone who's seeking personal growth, inspiration, and practical advice to build a solid foundation for a successful and fulfilling life, this is the place for you. Join me as we honor Hannah's memory together. Laugh, cry, and learn. Get ready for a podcast that is so much more than you could ever imagine. The Hey Hannah podcast, healing hearts, one conversation at a time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. Today is Juneteenth, so I am so excited to be sharing some information with you today about Juneteenth and hopefully providing some new insight and some things for you to do today to help celebrate. So I want to jump into that topic today. But first, before we get started, very, very important that I need to do, it is my baby sister Nia's birthday. So I want to make sure I say happy birthday to Nia, and you all can share your birthday celebrations with her in the comments. But Nia, happy birthday. I love you. I hope that your day is amazing and that you feel absolutely loved and celebrated. All right. So welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. As I said, I'm your host, Dr. Maya, and we are diving in to a special and significant topic today, which is Juneteenth. This holiday is not only commemorates a pivotal moment in American history, but it also aligns perfectly with our podcast principles. You know, one of our primary principles is education, and we also dive into self-improvement and encouragement. So I want to explore the importance of Juneteenth and how we can use this day to inspire growth and unity in our lives and in our very own communities. So, just a little bit of backstory. Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day or Emancipation Day, you may hear those used interchangeably. It marks the day when the last enslaved African Americans in the United States were informed of their freedom on June 19th, 1865. So, as you've probably picked up by now, Juneteenth is actually a combination of the month June and 19th. So, that's where you get Juneteenth from. This happened over 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln actually issued the Emancipation Proclamation. Union soldiers led by Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas to announce that the war had ended and the enslaved were now free. I mentioned that it was a significant time span between when the Emancipation Proclamation was actually issued and the day we know as Juneteenth. But it took some time for that information to travel that the African Americans who were enslaved were actually free. It was beneficial to those who were benefiting from their free labor to not pass on that information that they were actually free. So it was, definitely a time of celebration, but that news arrived after they had already been free for some time. So when General Granger showed up in Galveston, Texas, to announce that the war had ended, there definitely was a celebration in place. And so now we mark that holiday as Juneteenth. This day is not just a celebration of freedom, but also a reminder of the resilience and enduring spirit of enslaved people. It's a day to reflect on our history, recognize the struggles and contributions of Black Americans, and commit to continue progress towards equality and justice. So one of the core principles, again, of our podcast is education. So understanding our history is crucial to shaping our present and our future. Juneteenth is a perfect opportunity to educate ourselves and others about the African American experience, both past and present. And I know a lot of times we can think, well, this is, something that was so far in the past or something in our history books, but just to kind of give you some perspective, as a part of some of the fallout or the ramifications, so to speak, after Juneteenth took place, because obviously everyone was not excited about this. There were instances of what we call racial terror. One of those instances was actually in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was the terrorizing, is probably a light way to put it, of Black Wall Street. Today, in 2024, cases are still being argued in the Supreme Court for individuals seeking reparations or righting the wrong of instances that happened during that time. There are still survivors from instances of the Tulsa massacre. So if we think sometimes that it's so far away because it's not something that happened right in our present, but that just hopefully is a sobering perspective to let you know that there are still ramifications today of things that are the fallout of Juneteenth. So there are numerous resources available for those who want to learn more about Juneteenth and Black history. I want to just give you a few recommendations. There is a book called Juneteenth, the novel by Ralph Ellison, which is a good one to read on just to kind of get some information. There's also another book called On Juneteenth by Annette Gordon. Typically, these can be found in your local library if you want to check them out. And your library typically has audiobooks as well. So if you feel like I'm more of an audiobook person, that's still okay. You could probably get that from your local library. Also, right now, many libraries across the country have Juneteenth displays or selections for individuals to get their hands on this material to find out more about the holiday. There's documentaries available. The documentary 13th by Ava DuVernay, which I believe is on Netflix. There's also the documentary Miss Juneteenth and Eyes on the Prize series. These three covering aspects of Juneteenth that definitely unfold the historical aspect for those wishing to know more. A few other online resources, the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture website offers several different educational pieces. There's also a website called Juneteenth.com, which you can dive into some more information. And then the Equal Justice Initiative website, EJI, provides more information as well. Of course, these resources are not all encompassing, but I wanted to give you a place to start if you're thinking, I want to know more, I want to dive more into the history of Juneteenth. These are just a few places that you can go to and get your hands on some material, but ask around with people in your community. Of course, you have access to Google, so you can do a little digging yourself and find some other resources. And as I mentioned, there are several displays in local libraries to help you dig in more. But these are just a few places to start, just to get the wheels turning and hopefully get you more educated about Juneteenth if that's what you are seeking. Now, as parents, it's essential to educate our children about Juneteenth and Black history. This can be done through reading books, watching educational programs together, and engaging in open and honest conversations about race and history. Education is not a one size fits all model. You know your child best. You understand how your child best learns. So figure out which avenue is going to engage your child the most, and then pick one of those, whether it's a documentary, a book, or a little piece of both. That's going to be helpful. But I do want to encourage you to lean into the open and honest conversations about race and history, though they can be a little bit hard to tackle, especially when we have to answer some of the hard questions. This is absolutely true. What you don't want to do is, because we are practicing avoidance, absolutely erase a significant part of history that still shapes the interactions of several Americans today. So hopefully that encourages you to lean into those conversations. It doesn't have to be an everyday thing, but it does need to be something that you are intentional about, to help educate your children so they can attempt to do better in the future. So Juneteenth is also a day for self-improvement and reflection. It's a reminder of the strength and resilience of those who fought for freedom and for justice. And we can draw inspiration from their courage and apply that to our own lives. So take some time today to reflect on the personal growth and the steps that you can take towards self-improvement. Whether it's through setting new goals, learning new skills, or encouraging others in your community and engaging in community service. There are countless ways to honor the spirit of Juneteenth. The important thing is that we nudge ourselves, give ourselves that gentle nudge to do something. So, a few self improvement activities that you can start today. The first one, you can journal. You can start journaling today. We have some paper and we have a pencil somewhere handy. Reflect on your personal journey and set goals for your future. Now is always a good time to set goals, to be working towards something, to make yourself better, to strive for betterment for yourself. So journaling, you can do that right now. Reading, I mentioned several books that you can start reading. You can choose books that challenge your perspective and that expand your understanding of different cultures and history. So that's something you can do right now. Another thing is community involvement. As I mentioned, volunteering your time to local organizations that support racial equality and social justice. The Equal Justice Initiative, I mentioned that site earlier, outlines several volunteer organizations, if you don't know any off the top of your head, that align with this thought process of supporting racial equality and social justice. So if that's your jam, if that's your avenue that you want to plug into, visit the EJI website and see if you can find a volunteer organization that speaks to you. Remember, personal growth contributes to the betterment of our communities as a whole. And when we strive to improve ourselves, we also uplift those around us. So we definitely want to continue to strive to do that. Juneteenth also is a day of celebration. But aside from celebration, it's a day of encouragement and community building. We can use this day to uplift and support one another. Reach out to your friends and family. Participate in local Juneteenth events if you have those in your community, and engage in meaningful conversations about how we can collectively move forward. So, some ways that you can get involved from this aspect: attend local events if you have them. Many communities host Juneteenth celebrations, including parades, concerts, educational programs. Participating in these events is a great way to connect with others and to celebrate together. Another thing that you can do is support Black owned businesses. Make a conscious effort to support Black entrepreneurs and businesses in your community. They are all around you, from your local Facebook groups. You'll see businesses advertising. They're all over social media. You can ask around in some of your local mom groups or parent groups, but be intentional about supporting these businesses. And most importantly, advocate for change. Get involved in local advocacy groups that work towards racial equality and justice. And if you're thinking, like, I don't know if I can handle all that comes with jumping into a group that specifically advocates for change, I understand that may not be your thing, but we can advocate for change in our circles. I believe that the biggest place of influence is the people that we are already in connection with and we have the ability to reach. A lot of times we are able to see places in our own circles where we can talk about change or inspire change amongst our friend groups, rather it's certain conversations that we hear, and you can offer an educational piece that brings some type of insight for that person and hopefully helps them see things in a better way. Don't discount that. That's definitely something that you can do to help advocate for change right there in your circle. So our call to action for you today is to take at least one step toward education, self-improvement, or community building. Share what you've learned about Juneteenth with someone else, set a new personal goal, or participate in a local event, or you can just do them all. Each small action contributes to a larger movement toward understanding, growth, and unity. For parents, I never want to leave parents out. I feel like we are always looking for all the resources. So for parents looking to educate their children about Juneteenth and Black history, some fantastic resources for you. All different now. Juneteenth, the First Day of Freedom by Angela Johnson, again, typically found in your local library, and The Story of Ruby Bridges, just a couple children's books that you can use to read to your kids and start the conversation around this topic. PBS Kids offers various resources and videos about Black history and Juneteenth. And Scholastic's website also provides lesson plans and activities related to Juneteenth. So these two websites are kind of taking some of the work out of it for you because they are incorporating some different aspects, educational aspects for you that still introduce these topics to your children and help get the conversation started. As far as interactive activities, you can create a family tree and discuss your family's history and heritage. Aside from Juneteenth, I think this is just a great activity to do. Obviously, it's time consuming and it's something that you can have as an ongoing family project just when you're thinking about, what are some things that we can do as a family? How can we spend time together that's educational, that's full of purpose-filled conversation? These are one of those things that can just be an ongoing family activity, looking into your family history and putting that family tree together. But that's definitely an interactive activity that can be very helpful in not only talking about your history, but incorporating conversations about African American history and obviously the importance of Juneteenth. You can also engage in art projects that celebrate Juneteenth and its significance. A great place to start is the Juneteenth flag, the symbolism on the flag. What does it mean? There's so much symbolism there. None of the instances or images that you see there are just placed there because they are aesthetically pleasing. There are many educational aspects behind that, and that's a great place to start if you're looking to engage with an art project with your kids. Kids like to color and do art projects most of the time, so you all can do that art together and you can talk about the significance of all of the pieces there. So hopefully that's a bit of encouragement for you. Teaching our children about these important topics helps to foster a more inclusive and understanding future generations. So I'm hoping that's what you grasp from that. I'm hoping that's what you were encouraged to do, and I guess what helps keeps you encouraged to dig into these activities because they are so important. So thank you for joining me today on this special Juneteenth episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. I hope you feel inspired to learn, grow, and connect with your community. Remember, every step we take toward education, self-improvement, and encouragement makes a difference. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends and your family. Let's spread the word about the importance of Juneteenth. Be sure to follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We are now on LinkedIn and YouTube. So please don't forget to follow us and stay tuned for more insightful and inspiring episodes. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep moving forward. And until next time, everybody, take care.
Then that's it. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. We hope that you found inspiration, insight, and encouragement in our conversation today. If you enjoyed this episode and want to stay connected with us, be sure to like, subscribe, and review the Hey Hannah podcast. Your feedback helps us reach more people and spread our message of love and wisdom. You can also follow us on social media at Hey Hannah Podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to stay updated on all the latest episodes, behind-the-scenes exclusives, and engaging content. And for those of you who prefer the visual experience, catch the video versions of our podcast on our YouTube channel. Just search Hey Hannah Podcast and hit that subscribe button to never miss an episode. For even more Hey Hannah goodness, visit our website at www.heyhannahpodcast.com. There you'll find updates, bonus content, and join a community that embraces you with open arms. Your continued support truly means the world to us. Together, let's spread love, share wisdom, and honor every precious moment. Because here at Hey Hannah, we believe that life is meant to be lived well. Remember, A new episode of the Hey Hannah podcast is released every Wednesday, so mark your calendars and be sure to tune in. Thank you again for being a part of Hannah's High. Until next time, take care.
Entertainment. Entertainment.